12 minutes to go in normal time. Liverpool 3-0. Corner taken quickly, Origi!
It is the Reds Cast podcast after Liverpool have just demolished Lincoln, building up to the Arsenal game as well, and a little bit in between. As always, joined by Ste on Skype today. Unbelievable performance, really, wasn't it, Ste, midweek?
Afternoon, Matty, yeah. It was like the quality of the goals stood out for me. I know we beat a substandard team, but the quality of the goals that come from our players was just unbelievable.
Yeah, I mean, like, I messaged you in the game, didn't I, about there was how good our analysis must actually be, because there was a left side of the Lincoln box, and that's where Minamino and Jones basically scored identical goals. And then seen Elliott try and drift in there as well for a little bit, because obviously they must have analysed, like, if you carry from this position, it's probably going to go in. And Minamino and Jones were probably the standout ones, weren't they?
Absolutely. Well, I mean, Shaqiri
free
gorgeous free kick. That, I'm not being funny, but you're not stopping that. But yeah, the Minamino finish, really tidy, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And Jones equally was. I know you can say, oh, we were playing a lower league team or whatever, but I think you play a higher championship team in that way, and you beat them in the same way.
Well, people are saying that, but then you think Curtis Jones has already done it against Everton.
Yeah.
The exact same shot. So I think most Premier League goalkeepers, if you put them in goal for them shots, they probably wouldn't have got them either.
Yeah, 9 out of 10 would struggle to get that. They were just quality finishes.
So what did you make about Shaqiri starting? I mean, the team really surprised us too. We were well off, weren't we?
Miles away, yeah. I'm happy for him. And he did really well. I thought, other than the goal, his distribution was great. He ran at them, and he was playing more in the midfield role rather than on the wing, wasn't he?
Yeah, I thought that. He was playing like in the left of the midfield three. Or was it the right?
The right. No, he's playing on the right-hand side.
Yeah,
I was really impressed with him. And again, it's just that enigma over, like, what is he? What is he to Klopp?
Yeah, because he come off injured, walked off. So if you walk off, I always say that it's a good sign. So it's probably that might now give Klopp the excuse to where we won't see Shaqiri now till January. Who knows?
Yeah,
he's shown that he's also.
And it's a shame, isn't it?
Yeah, and he's shown he's a good option in midfield as well if we need him instead of on the wing. Maybe that was probably one of the strongest Shaqiri performances I've seen. I mean, not looking too much into it because we only played Lincoln.
Yeah.
I feel like, obviously, as he's getting older, he's struggled with injuries and stuff. His pace probably isn't there for him to maybe perform the wing role to the standard of the set anymore. So that's maybe why Klopp weren't playing him. But then he's given him a go in midfield, and he hasn't done himself like any bad.
He's done himself no harm at all.
Yeah.
And considering he's probably looked at the players that we've just brought in, and thought, I've got a real fight on my hands here to get a game. And he's done himself no harm because he was one of the standout players for me. Although they were all pretty. There was one or two where they were fairly average, but the rest were phenomenal.
Yeah, unbelievable. It was an unbelievable performance. You half expected it though once you've seen the team. I mean, starting Van Dijk. Does that to you say that Jurgen wants to win a domestic cup this year?
That says to me he was probably short on options. I would imagine that wouldn't have been in his plans to be starting as his first choice centre half in a game like that.
Yeah, I mean he brought him up at half time, didn't he, for Fabinho? But that's the thing that I thought was mad. Like, why didn't he just start Fabinho in there? instead of Van Dijk. But maybe because he didn't know how Reece Williams would perform again, he was a
yeah. You want an established centre half next to a kid coming through, don't you? You don't want someone who's sort of playing out of position, so to speak.
Yeah, I mean, I'd never heard of this kid, being honest, until he was on the team sheet. He was at Kidderminster last year. Played 28 times in the book, and he was decent, wasn't he?
He was, yeah. He didn't put a foot wrong, to be fair, but not that I can remember. And if you don't remember how your defender played, it's probably a good thing.
Yeah, I mean, and so obviously you forget where you said you didn't forget. You don't remember that your defender's performance, which is always a good thing. We did have 71.3% possession, 23 shots, 12 chances created. It was good to see us absolutely dominate a game, wasn't it?
It was, because you'd always think with games like that, it's a potential banana skin.
Yeah.
Because you're thinking that your players will get a bit complacent, and none of them did.
Not one.
I mean, Divock Origi probably didn't do himself any favours. He was fairly average, although he got his goal.
Yeah.
He was average, but the rest were fantastic, and I'm made up. And I hope that continues into the further rounds, because we're playing Arsenal tomorrow, and then we've got them again on Thursday in the cup.
Yeah.
And I can imagine that the game on Thursday will be a similar lineup.
Probably, yeah. We'll touch on that later on, because there's been a few things just before we've come on air that I've seen on Twitter. But yeah, touching on performances against Lincoln, loads of people have took to Twitter to slag Nico off. I looked into his stats for that game. Yeah. He had 85% pass accuracy, 7 out of 11 accurate long passes, 5 out of 6 accurate passes in the final third. He had created 1 chance, won 2 out of 3 dribbles, 11 out of 24 duels were won. Yeah, that's probably a bit poor, but he had 6 interceptions, 9 recoveries, and 3 of them were in the opposition half. That was what the Tactical Times had tweeted. And then I was thinking, why are people slagging this kid off like that? I watched the game. I had the first time I've ever put a bet on in my life on the footy, because I don't bet. But I was watching it with real interest because I'd had a bet on, and I can't remember a point when Nico was bad. He
made one mistake for their goal, didn't he? Where he gave the ball away. Yeah. He got caught in possession and they broke away and scored. So that's for me the only thing in a sort of all-round pretty good performance. That was just the one thing, and I think people have picked on that. They've been looking for an excuse. I thought, these Twitter idiots, I'm not being funny, but he's a good player. He's a young lad. He's had a good game and he's made one mistake, and they're jumping on that because he's not Trent. Who is?
In my eyes, the people who are slagging him off are glory unto fans, because people will say, oh, I can't. I've seen people on Twitter saying what, so people are saying I can't have an opinion on my club. But Nico Williams is better than anyone who was in our team in like the Hodgson days. And we went through some proper dark days as Liverpool fans, like horrible, horrible times. And people are now slagging them off. We're not going to get a world-class right-back who knows. Trent's probably got about 14, 15 years left in him. So he's not going to get into the team for 14, 15 years. So why would anyone come and sign for Liverpool when the best right-back in the world is starting every game for the next 14 years? So the fact you've got a second-choice right-back who's young, hungry, happy to rotate with Trent, happy to be part of a squad. Why?
And he's an international player, by the way.
Yeah, if Jurgen Klopp and Ryan Giggs both rave off him, and people on Twitter think they know better, it's just crazy, isn't it?
I know who I'm going to listen to, put it that way.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's a good choice right back. And I remember years ago, like I obviously went alive when it got said, but there's a quote of Bill Shankly saying, if you can't support us when we're winning, don't support us when we're losing. And it seems, if you don't support us when we're losing, can't support us when we're winning. It seems mad to say that we've just won 7-2, but that could apply to players as well. Like if a player has a bad game, if you can't support them when they have a bad game, you shouldn't be able to support them through the glory days as well. You think back to Trent. His game against United, he was poor. You think back to Trent against Leeds this season, He was poor.
He was poor, yeah. But no one jumped on him.
No, because he's Trent, and he's like the world's best right back. So, like, Nico is a kid. He's learning. He's developing. Personally, I see more in, however, with Jurgen Klopp, who sees these kids every single day training, week in, week out, thinks that Nico's got a better future at Liverpool, then, however, you're going to trust his decision.
Absolutely. Whatever Klopp does, you got to trust it, because you look where we were and you look where we are, and how can you then judge anything he does or says in a bad way?
Exactly. It's crazy. Speaking of another one of the kids, do you really call him a kid anymore, or do you call him an established squad player in Curtis Jones?
I would. He's somewhere in between, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's still a young lad, but as you say, he's established in the squad. Although he's not, he's not going to be starting many games, but he's going to be at least on the bench every week.
I was thinking about it the other day. I haven't seen him have a bad performance.
No, not one. I mean, maybe in the the under-23s or whatever, before he's broke through, he's probably had the odd few games that no one's really seen. But since he's took that step into the first team squad,
he took his chance, hasn't he?
Absolutely, yeah.
I mean, his 2 goals were phenomenal. Man of the match performance. I mean, his acceptance speech was funny.
Do you know, I didn't even hear that, and I've seen a few memes going on about something about Minamino or something, and I was baffled, and I forgot to look into what the hell he was going on about.
Basically, it's like he'd won a Grammy or something when he got kicked from the match award. He done like a full acceptance speech. It was funny, like saying thanks for everyone who voted. No, it was mad. But yeah, he's world class. He got goal of the season in the FA Cup as well. Obviously, Liverpool fans on Twitter made sure of that.
Absolutely.
But I was right. Curtis Jones scored a screamer.
Yeah. Both his goals were good, to be fair. The one where he was inside the box, wasn't he? He just turned the defender inside out and just whipped it. Brilliant. Yeah. Like, so composed and mature for such a young lad.
And then we went into half time 5-0 up.
It was 4, wasn't it? It was 4-0. We scored the 5th.
Minamino scored 46. Yeah. And then we conceded.
Yeah. I will put that down to Lincoln.
Yeah, without looking too much into it, it's disappointing not to keep a clean sheet in it.
A bit, but in the grand scheme of things, it's no massive deal. It just shows, like, Lincoln must have thought, well, we might as well have a go here, because we're getting battered. We might as well try and at least get a couple of goals. And he forced a couple of mistakes out of us, and fair play to them. They got the goals, but can't for nothing, does it?
You can see that they're a good side for League Two in the way that they press us on their 2 goals and their counter-attacks and stuff. But aside from their 2 goals, Gruich got on the score sheet. I was made up,
Yeah. It was like me and you had a conversation during the match, I think, about Gruich. And I was like, he hasn't really done that much. But you made the point that the way the game was going, his position wasn't really required. So he didn't have a lot to do. But yeah, he popped up with a decent finish, didn't he?
Yeah, I like him. I think he's a good choice. Because if we actually haven't got the money, I was thinking about it. And you could actually use Fabinho as a 4th choice centre-back.
Yeah.
And then use Gruich as Fabinho's cover in the holding field. I don't think Gruich would pull it back. But obviously, if it was against like United or something, you'd play like Thiago or Henderson in that holding role. But I think for like games against like your West Broms, your Evertons and stuff like that.
He's absolutely a great option to have in the squad. So he didn't do bad. So he just wasn't required very much in that first half.
It was mad to see Harry Wilson on the bench as well, weren't it? Because he's apparently going to Burnley.
Yeah, looks that way, doesn't it? Look like they're getting a deal sorted for that. He must have just been struggling for players to throw on the bench, to be fair.
What did you make of Elliott's performance? I mean, he got an assist and he did look bright, but I just can't see Klopp playing a 17-year-old in the Prem.
No, he's still a little bit off, isn't he?
Yeah, you can see he's going to be world class, but he's not first team ready as much as, say, Jones and Nico.
No, absolutely. And yeah, as I say, he's probably a little step behind them. And not to take anything away from him, because he's a good little player, and if he keeps playing around the players that he's got there in training, he's only going to improve. I think my issue is he hasn't improved as fast as the others have.
Yeah.
But people, players develop at their own rate. Some develop early, some develop a bit later, and that might just be.
Actually, he's only just turned like 17 as well.
Yeah, yeah.
He's still a kid, a proper kid.
Yeah, he is.
Jota made his debut as well. Look, shows some good signs that he didn't get a goal. You can see that he likes to press.
Yeah,
so I think he'll fit right into our front three should he be required in terms of any changes and that. I think he wouldn't. He's like Thiago, who can just fit straight into the team.
Yeah. There's no sort of adjustment period needed for him. Where I thought actually with Thiago he would need some adjustment period, but he absolutely didn't. Jota showed the same. He just fits in well. Does the pressing, has a goal. But I mean, like, what more do you want?
It was interesting because he came on for Elliot as well, so he came on the right. And I always thought he was the left, so it shows he's versatile as well, which helps.
He doesn't say he plays anywhere across that front three, doesn't he?
Yeah, literally anywhere. So then we basically got Jota and Minamino as the backups, which is interesting because apparently Origi's staying now. I'm happy to be a squad player. It made me think though, like he's getting to maybe how old is he? He's about 28, 29 now, isn't he, Origi?
Is he that old?
I think so, yeah. Or if he's not, I think it's very crazy to. I'll have a look now. I think he's crazy to stay if he's not. But I just feel like he knows the likes of Lukaku is above him in Belgium, so it's hard for him to. Oh, he's only 25.
And yeah, I didn't think he was that old. So he's like approaching his prime, isn't he?
And it says he wants to stay and he's happy to be a squad player. It makes me wonder, like, Lukaku's older than that, so why doesn't he not wanting to move and progress his career and start and try and break into the Belgium team?
Yeah, and like I've spoken about this about Origi before in the past, he hasn't really got that go in him, has he? He sort of like he goes with the flow, and if he comes on in a game where it's high paced, he'll just jump in and carry on. But he's not the type of player that will affect a game. He won't come on. He won't change the pace of a game. He just sort of goes with it.
I can't see him getting on ahead of Minamino and Jota anyway.
No.
We don't ever really change the whole front three in a game.
No.
So unless we were playing them and then we had a big game coming up and we wanted to rest them all, but we don't really change the front three. So
you've got to look at it. He must know that Klopp's going all guns blazing on all four fronts. So he's going to need a deeper squad and more players and whatever.
That's all I can think, because I honestly believe Klopp wants to win everything.
Yeah.
Not even just judging by the Van Dijk start against Lincoln. We were playing Lincoln City. We could have played the kids, and we had like Minamino, Origi, Jota came on. We had Shaqiri, Isa.
There was some experience there, wasn't there? Like,
yeah, it was like that's a team who could probably go and win some Premier League games.
Yeah, definitely.
And it's I strongly believe like every play there should be two players for every position. You should have an A team and a B team, and Europe or something like that. So if that is our B team going forward with the rest of the season, it's all right, isn't it?
It bodes well for us, doesn't it?
Yeah,
it really. Yeah.
Moving on, have you seen Stud just coming back to the Prem?
No.
Sheffield United.
Oh, good luck to him. I like Stud.
Yeah, and they're rumoured to be in for Brewster as well. So Sturridge and Brewster, like they were close when Brewster was breaking through. When I know Brewster looks up to the Ox as well a lot. But I'm sure I think Brewster during his injury, Sturridge was injured at some point, so they've got quite a good bond. So I seen it and thought, good luck to him. I mean, he was all right in Turkey, from what I've heard, and Konyaspor or something. And then obviously he got banned, didn't he, for match betting. So that's what I like about Chris Wilder. He's just not bothered that Sturridge has been banned for betting. He's like,
no, he's seen the player he wants, doesn't he? And whatever.
He's my favourite manager in the Prem, other than Klopp.
He's really like a real down to earth, normal fella, isn't he?
Yeah, he's just a lad from Sheffield, basically. Yeah. He's going there. And then have you seen Bobby Duncan as well? Did you see his apology?
Yeah, it was. He's gone to Derby County, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's starting after the 23s there, which is is mad because he must look at the team against Lincoln and think, I would have been in that.
Well, yeah, he would have been pushing, wouldn't he? But yeah, it was more of was it an apology or it was like an apology mixed in with a thank you, mixed in with a sort of grovelling sort of.
Yeah, he mentioned about him. In a nutshell, I got out of it. I've been badly advised last year and it got blown out of proportion for something that it didn't need to be and stuff. And do you know what? I hope he does smash her at Derby. And do you know, if he come back to Liverpool, it'd only be because he's been world class. And obviously, I'd love to have a Liverpool lad leading the line like Owen did and Fowler did, and when Gerrard was there. I mentioned Owen, even though he's from Chester, he's still a product of.
He's a young local lad, wasn't he?
Yeah. So yeah, I hope he does smash her at Derby to the point that he can maybe come back because I was excited when he came. I think he's a good talent who's just been poorly advised throughout his career. I think he's on like a sixth agent and he seems to always get messed around a little bit and he just follows them rather than it's mad that he took that advice off his agent instead of just picking up the phone to Stevie and saying like, what should I do?
Yeah. What's his age now? Is he like 18 or something?
18, 19. He's starting in the under-23s in Derby, but he's only going to develop learning from Wayne Rooney.
Yeah. He's under a good coach there, isn't he?
Yeah, like Rooney's a player coach, but still, people who play for Rangers say and I've seen videos of when they posted them on their Instagram, Gerrard getting involved in the training sessions, and he's still world class. He's Steven Gerrard. Rooney, although he's older now, is world class. So
you never lose that touch, do you?
No, wait, I honestly believe Curtis Jones is probably the player he is today. Massively has helped with that year with Gerrard.
Yeah. And he's the only one. There'll be plenty there.
Yeah, definitely. And I think Bobby Duncan will only benefit as well from Rooney. And it's good to see him come back to England. It was a mad decision to go over to Italy, and even crazier that he thought he'd start. They haven't got a bad team. They got Ribery in that. So why would he come in and play?
As I said before, he's just been advised so poorly by his agent or whoever is making them decisions for him. He should have just stepped up and gone, "Are you madman? Come on."
Crazy. Arsenal coming up twice in a week.
Yeah.
It's mad, innit? All these games. I didn't realize how bad it was. I remember Mourinho was going mad because they had to play qualifying rounds in the Europa League. So they were playing some crazy amount of games before Christmas. It's like Christmas period for them till January now.
Yeah. Got a game every 3 or 4 days or something, haven't you?
When there is a break, it's the international break, so the players are still playing. I can't believe that we're playing twice in a week. Really, obviously Arsenal are probably going to stay up here, which could have benefits because where are they going to train?
Yeah,
they're only going to train on somewhere probably like Marine or something like that.
Well, you say that about Arsenal staying, but I can see Arsenal pretty much bringing 2 teams the same way we're probably going to play 2 different teams.
Yeah, who do you reckon? Looking ahead to the game tomorrow. Before we came on, I seen Alisson and Thiago with doubt, and my heart sunk.
What?
Yeah.
Because I've seen today that Thiago might start.
I've seen that as well, but literally just before we came on, Paul Joyce is the one who's tweeted it as well, so he's always on.
Yeah.
And he said that they're going to have late fitness tests to see if they can play tomorrow. I don't know myself if they've got been tested positive for corona and they've got to isolate for 10 days because we never ever announced officially that someone had it in pre-season, even though everyone knew that someone did have it. So I personally think they might have that. Is that a concern?
Massive concern. Thiago, yeah, obviously you want him on the pitch, but we've got better cover in that area than we have in goal. Not against Adrian because, as I said, we touched on last week, he's as good a back keeper as you're going to get. But anything other than Alisson is a step down.
Yeah. We missed 19 games last year and seen him injured by the 3rd game this year. Is that a concern? Like,
I wouldn't say it's a long-term concern over his injury proneness or whatever.
Yeah.
We'll see. We'll see come tomorrow if it's all media nonsense or whether he actually is hurt.
I mean, if he doesn't play, I'm confident with Adrian. I've seen people on Twitter going mad that Adrian might be playing.
Listen, it could be Karius. You know what I mean?
That's what I mean. Karius is still in that team. I mean, definitely isn't part of it because Jürgen didn't even put him on the bench against Lincoln. He had Keller on the bench, didn't he?
He's been rumoured with a move to
Union Berlin.
That's it, yeah, Union Berlin, yeah. So
on loan. What? I just don't
on
see
loan.
Yeah, on loan. It's a joke because they're going to have him see that he's terrible and just send him back like Besiktas did.
No one wants to fork out the money for him to buy him, do they? So
he'll be all right. He'll be all right there for Union Berlin. He'll be probably one of the best keepers they've ever had. He'll be all right. He was all right in Germany when Liverpool went and bought him.
Yeah, true.
The only games, tough games in the season. Let's not forget he got the most clean sheets in the Champions League. Regardless of I know he made all the mistakes in the final, but he did have the most clean sheets that year. So, in terms of getting the Bundesliga, you're anyway going up against Bayern Munich and Dortmund, and not even so much.
That's pretty average, isn't it?
Yeah, so he's going to look good over there. So it's probably a good move for him. Maybe that's why we are loaning him to put him in the shop window because he might massively improve Union Berlin because.
As you say, at his best, he was playing in Germany, and that's the reason we signed him in the first place. So he's probably comfortable there.
Yeah.
I'm assuming he's comfortable with the language and all that, so it won't be much of an adjustment for him.
He is German, isn't he? Yeah, he's German.
Is he?
Sure he is.
You're probably right. I thought it was a bit of a brain fart, and I have absolutely no idea where he comes from.
Yeah, I'm sure he is German. He's born in Bilberach. He is German, but he was like
I didn't even have a clue where he was from for a minute.
Yeah, he played a lot in City's youth, didn't he? So he had perfect English. He's 27 now, you know.
Okay. He needs to just give it and take up his modelling career properly, doesn't
he? Yeah. Arsenal last year then finished 8th in the Prem, round 32 Europa, won the FA Cup, won the Community Shield, won the football. Come 4th round in the FL Cup. Should we look too much into that, or are they a totally different side?
They're a different beast this year. They've improved massively. I mean, it took a little bit of time and not too much under Arteta. They're looking all right. I'm not going to say much because I tipped Chelsea to win the league, so what the hell do I know? But they are a different team than they were last year. They're gonna push top 4. They'll do well in the cups, just maybe not the EFL Cup.
I seen it. I don't think Arsenal will get top 4 myself.
They'll come close. They were away off last year.
If Wolves make the signing, who I'm about to mention now, Thomas Lamar, I've seen on Twitter this morning, they're apparently in concrete talks with Thomas Lamar. If Wolves get him,
Wolves have gone crazy. What the hell?
Yeah, I mean, obviously Liverpool wants him and he's flopped that so much. Yeah, he's flopped. You can say he's flopped at Atletico. But they've got
a big name.
Yeah, they've got Semedo, Thomas Lamar. They've already got a good team. Wolves are the ones who I think could push top 4. I think Howard's a good option to the back line, playing next to Conor Cody. They've got Semedo ahead of However. However's a natural right back, so we can then track behind Semedo and stuff, and he good cover. I think that Fabio Silva's a real talent as well. They've only got Raul Jimenez. I think they're a really strong side.
They've got pretty much a whole team of Portuguese players now, haven't they?
Yeah, pretty much. They're starting 11 bars.
So Ronaldo next, then, for Wolves.
Yeah. So, I'm surprised they haven't given a whack is Renato Sanchez. I know he wasn't the best when he played in England, but
yeah, he didn't. It was just he was at.
Yeah, but he's good for Portugal. So having him in a team full of Portuguese, you'll probably get the best out of him, and he's a good little player. But yeah, back to the Arsenal game anyway. Then, should we look at the Community Shield final and take anything from that, or do you think, with that being technically in pre-season, we can't look too much into it? I mean, I wouldn't say negatively because I think we played a good performance in the Community Shield final. We were just unlucky on pens.
Yeah, I think obviously like the coaching staff are going to look at the game and pick holes in whatever they can pick holes in. But as fans, I think it's just another game against Arsenal, isn't it?
Arsenal, we've mentioned it before, they always used to turn my stomach when we played them because they was like a proper bogey team for us.
Beat us all the time, and they had Thierry Henry. We just couldn't get near them.
Well, that's what I want to touch on. I'm never going to compare him to Thierry Henry, but Lacazette has looked sharp this year.
Him and Aubameyang, and even Willian is he's not quite as absolutely, but Lacazette and Aubameyang, that's when they're on fire, they are a force to be reckoned with.
Yeah. The only thing, would you start Fabinho then? With that, because they've got such a powerful front three, and then you've got Van Dijk and Fabinho, 2 units at the back.
Yeah, I would absolutely.
I mean,
this is assuming that Thiago's fit to play.
Yeah,
I would absolutely play Fabinho and Van Dijk.
Well, if Thiago isn't fit to play, who'd you play centre half? Because Matip and Gomez are still out.
Right, yeah, then I would play Fabinho either way then.
With Henderson's out as well.
Yeah.
If Alisson and Thiago are out as well, we have got some mass injury problems.
Yeah. That's 4 or 5 more than likely starters out, isn't it? That's half your team.
I can't even think, and I will speak of the team in a bit, but I can't even think who I'd put in it. If we'll have to do 2 teams and do like if this is happening, if that's happening. We have to win, don't we? I mean, we have to win every game, but we can't have Everton 3 points ahead of us.
No, we can't. Like I've said this before, I'm all for Everton doing quite well. I like the rivalry, and I think it's getting a bit boring that
we're too good.
That they're not a rival anymore. They're just another team that we get 3 points off.
Yeah.
I would like them to be doing well, just not as well as us, and certainly not better than us.
I said that before the season. I'd love to see how it was when my dad was growing up, when it was like always Liverpool or Everton. Yeah. City would be buzzing all the time. But at the minute, I just don't. I'm thinking differently because some Blues who I'm mates with now, I've seen ones go out with the missus. They took the missuses on dates because Everton are top of the league. There's some particular people on Facebook who've been sharing the league table. I've seen people having like 6 people in the garden. I'm not going to grass anyone off. 6 people in the garden. Not by ours. It was like on Facebook, like a picture. And it was like
the league.
Yeah, and it was just like, oh my god. I mean, they've looked decent, but you haven't really come up against a decent team, because I wouldn't even say Spurs are a decent team. So they haven't came up against, in my eyes, one of the big boys yet, and I think they'll just get overturned. Especially if he was at fault again yesterday. I don't know if you watched it.
No, well, I've seen bits, but it was on my phone, so it was not very good quality and all that. But Everton fans are a strange breed, aren't they? And I guess that's what a lifetime for most of them of failure must do to you.
Don't get me wrong, I wouldn't mind them if they won a cup this year. I wouldn't mind for all my mates who are Blues, really, because like they've seen their mates celebrate everything now. Every cup, and they haven't seen, like, some of my mates have never ever seen their team win a cup. Like, I couldn't begin to think how that'd feel.
I know, because especially when we've been picking up trophies here and there, recently more so, but over the years, we've been picking trophies up here, there, and everywhere. I mean,
just they see, like, obviously with Liverpool, there's, as a city, all your friends on like Facebook and stuff like that, you've got loads of Blues, and Blues have got loads of Reds. I couldn't imagine sitting at home seeing Everton fans at a European final and sitting there going, oh, like they've done that, to experience that like 4 times in my lifetime. No, 5 times. Maybe 4 times, sorry, we've won 2. That's crazy. So I do hope that they do win something, just not this year, because I want us to win the quadruple. You can hold off another year, and then you can win something. But I
don't even want them to win a derby, let alone a trophy. I just want them to be like a little bit more of a challenge.
I wouldn't be bothered. I'd rather them win cups than like Arsenal and Cities, and I'd rather Liverpool dominate football like it should do, like as a city, because the amount of talented footballers we produce from this city, I'd like to see the city dominate like the whole of English football again. Whether that be just solely Liverpool or whether that be Liverpool and Everton, I'd be happy with either or. I'm not, although I don't really like Everton, I would like to see it for the city.
Yeah,
like, massively. But Everton had a big, massive VAR decision in their game. And then did you see the United one? That was the maddest thing I've ever seen in a game of football.
Yeah, because they finished the game.
And then he got called back.
I'm not sure. I was a bit baffled by it because I don't know the rules. Like, I know what I think should happen, but I don't know what the actual rules.
So surely, like, I've seen people on Twitter saying Liverpool have won the league from that goal. That should have been, remember that against City.
Oh, the offside one, yeah.
Yeah, and it wasn't offside. It's that, like, surely if United are winning games in the 100th minute when there was only 95 minutes of added time, and the final whistles went, and it's getting pulled back to give them a pen, going, United haven't won. Go on, give them another chance.
Yeah,
every game should be looked at from previous.
Yeah, I mean, and that's what I mean. I don't know the actual ruling on VAR decisions at the final whistle. If the rule says it can be checked, then we just got to deal with it because that happened during the game, regardless of whether the final whistle went after it. And if they're going to check it, they're going to check it.
Sure, there isn't a rule saying that.
I don't know. I just don't know. I mean, it was handball. It was a handball.
Yeah. But
you can't deny that. But it was like decided after the final whistle, which I still can't get my head around.
I mean, you have got to finish this thing of play for the referee to obviously have a look at the monitor anyway. But if he's blew the final whistle and then it's been called back, I think it's crazy. It's like the Everton game. The Palace were on the attack and then got fouled, and then it got brought back for an Everton.
Yeah.
It was just the new handball rule is the maddest thing in the world. I mean, I'd say the Palace player in the Everton game did handball it.
Yeah.
From this VAR, it looked like he did. He done it cleverly because he turned his body, but I feel like he swung his hand too much. So it probably was a handball, but the new handball rules are crazy. It's like if the players will play with their hands tied behind the back.
Yeah, it's not natural.
Put on Twitter in a straitjacket. It's just,
you can't. You just can't. You can't expect a player to run in an unnatural way. It's just in case the ball goes near their hand. It's not you. It's it's like putting the players off having to play their actual game because they're concentrating too much on what their arms are doing. They shouldn't care what their arms are doing to an extent,
Yeah, if it's not a deliberate handball, then it shouldn't be handball. And they aren't meeting. It said on Sky till March to review the bylaws and that. So this is until at least March next year. Think how many you could probably have Everton winning the league this year because VAR is going to be a load of nonsense.
You could probably smash a ball at someone's hand from 2 yards away where they have got no chance of getting out the way.
Surely players are going to look at that now and think, I'm going to start targeting people's hands and get pens.
Rather than trying to get past them, just flick it up to their hand.
Going to give it, aren't they?
Yeah.
Bruno Fernandes is the king of it. But yeah, so it does concern me, but
the fact is it should be the same for everyone, and whether it's a crap rule or whatever, it needs to be across the board, but I think the rule just needs to go.
Yeah, it's until March. I think if there's a load of mad decisions like there has been this weekend, surely it's going to get scrapped.
The clubs might make a complaint and it might get looked into,
Yeah, well, Palace definitely should, and Brighton would have a cause for suing them. Really, the final whistle had went, so they would have a cause for taking it to court and seeing if they can get it overturned, and that'd be mad. Imagine if at the end of the season,
that just opens up a can of worms, doesn't it?
Imagine if Brighton go down and if they had one more point, they would have stayed up. They could sue the league.
I know, it's absolutely crazy.
It's just this year's just mad. Everyone's mad about it. But anyway, looking ahead to tomorrow's game, if we're taking Alisson and Thiago out of the situation, if they are injured,
Don't say that to me. Come on.
Who plays?
In that situation, okay, so we go.
Taking into account Henderson's injured as well. Matip's injured. Gomez is injured.
Right, so it's going to be Trent, Fabinho, Van Dijk, Robertson. Then you're going to have a midfield of, Wijnaldum, Keita. Struggling now. Maybe Jones deserves to get the start. But whether he's going to save him for Thursday, who knows?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'll go with that three. I go Wijnaldum, Keita and Jones. Then I go with the strongest front three.
In that situation, I'd probably agree with you, apart from I think Milner will probably start instead of Jones, given that Henderson's out and we can't have Thiago. Maybe Milner in the holding goal.
Maybe it could be like that.
Because, I mean, it depends. Klopp isn't really that bothered about the EFL Cup. I mean, he sent Linders to his press conference, which may I add, I want him as the next manager, not Stevie.
Yeah, I think you've said this before. Stevie needs to work his way in again, doesn't he?
Yeah, I mean, he's having a phenomenal season up in Glasgow this year. But the way Linders spoke, I don't know if you heard the press conference, it was unbelievable. Like, his tactical knowledge of the game is crazy. And I mean, you see loads of rumours. I'm not saying rumours, they're probably facts that Linders takes most of the sessions and Klopp oversees them. And you can see he just loves football. He was talking about how many counter-attacking goals Lincoln had scored this season. Like,
he's a proper football man, isn't he?
Yeah, I mean, obviously he's not doing the analysis, but he's taking that in. He's working on strategies to stop that, and he is like Klopp's younger mold, basically. Like, he's learning from the best, and he's the one who's putting all the tactics in place. I'd have him as the manager. I think
the old boot room mold, isn't it? Where like there's a few guys there, and then the next in line comes up and takes over.
I mean, obviously, he probably hasn't got the pull in terms of world football as Jurgen Klopp, but you need to get your results to the talking. So if he came in and we started smashing it, people are going to want to come regardless for Liverpool Football Club. But that's got my head in a pickle, really, though, because I feel like with the injuries, obviously he's going to prioritise the Premier League over the League Cup on Thursday. So you might see the likes of Jones and that playing, and then on Thursday it is literally just kids against Arsenal, and he's just like, sod this is a joke, we need a break, because if we get through that, the quarterfinals the week after.
Really?
I think so, or after the international break, yeah. There's literally a game, either the FA Cup, League Cup or Champions League. Liverpool are playing twice a week now till Christmas, more or less.
I mean, the FA Cup just doesn't start till January.
Yeah. So I think it's just the League Cup, because obviously the League Cup finals still got to be in February, and they've started late. I don't think there's replays this year either. So that
it's all pens, isn't it?
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I'm sure we are playing twice a week, every other like Wednesday, Saturday, Tuesday, Saturday, whatever, till Christmas. I'm sure it is. We're pretty similar to Tottenham. If the Champions League will start up again after the international break, not long after that. I mean, the group for the draw for that is next week, I think.
Next Friday, is it?
I think so. I mean, we can be in a pot with Barca.
That's nuts.
I'd take Barca in the group now, though.
My dear, Barca are not what they were, are they?
No, I'd take Barca in our group. I'd take anyone, to be honest. There's no one.
I think most clubs will be fearing getting us rather than us fearing getting anyone else.
The one team I don't really want, those Atletico, they're going to be so dirty this year. You know, they've got Suarez and Costa up front and Simeone. I mean,
it'll be fun to watch. I'll be honest, it will be fun to watch, just not against us.
I don't think Simeone's going to like Suarez that much. Have you seen a Torres documentary, by the way, on Amazon? It's really, really good. Really good. He openly admits he made a mistake, but he isn't to blame for his move to Chelsea, you know.
Right, what happened?
he was promised mad stuff by Hicks and Gillette, like promised that we're going to invest in the team, we're going to be challenging for like trophies and stuff like that, and then we sold Alonso.
Yeah.
So like, he said the ambition of the club didn't match his. So fair play to him.
Yeah,
that was the darkest days of the Liverpool fan around them times, seeing Torres going and stuff, and when Hicks and Gillette was in charge, and you can understand. I mean, he probably regrets not staying because after he gone, we brought Suarez in, and Suarez was coming in regardless. Andy Carroll was the last minute replacement for Torres, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
But yeah, you can see how much he loves Liverpool. Liverpool is his club.
He did love them before he came to us.
Yeah,
he was a Liverpool fan before he even came, so I think you won't be able to take that away from him.
And the way him and Gerrard speak about each other in the documentary, it's amazing, and it just brings back how bloody good them two was together.
They were phenomenal together.
Yeah, prime Gerrard, the prime Torres, like.
How did we not win everything?
I don't know. It's mad, isn't it? I was thinking that we were like the team we had back then was unbelievable. I just don't understand how we didn't win like the league and that. We had a midfield of Mascherano, Alonso, and Gerrard, and then we had Torres ahead of them, and we had Pepe Reina when he was like decent. It was mad. I just don't understand.
And we had, you know what? It sounds funny, but we had prime Peter Crouch as well.
Yeah, but yeah, I don't think Simeone will like Suarez because Torres, when he went back to Atletico, he says in it that he started getting benched because Simeone didn't like that there was a bigger superstar at the team than him.
Oh wow!
And he said like Simeone likes to be the main man. It was always about Simeone, and then Torres came back and he was like the prodigal son of Atletico, wasn't he? So then Simeone hated it. Now, Luis Suarez coming to Atletico. Luis Suarez is one of the greatest strikers of all time. And it's fair to say that. And he's now going to Atletico. They're going to absolutely love him. They haven't had someone like that since, like Torres and Falcao and that. They always have a boss number 9. But they went from Morata and Costa to Suarez.
Yeah. And like 99 teams out of 100 would take Suarez in. Because, you know, for whatever clouds he's got above him, he's a phenomenal player. He's unbelievable.
Did you see? I think he would get both teams as well.
Yeah, it was really like heartfelt, wasn't it? And it was a bit of a dig as well, wasn't it?
He said people like you should be like given the world when you leave. You're a club legend, but instead you're being shown the back door. And I think it's a bit of a dig because the Rakitic thing, like they're in £500 million worth of debt, aren't they? And you've got to sell. But they sold Rakitic for $1 million. It's just mad.
What?
Yeah, he went to Sevilla for $1 million.
For $1 million?
Yeah.
How old?
He's about 31, 32 now, but PSG offered something stupid like 90 million 2 seasons ago, and he said no. But Messi said like nothing surprises me anymore. I don't think Messi will be there. Messi will be on the pitch, but I don't think we're going to see Messi anymore.
No.
At Barcelona. I think he's just not going to be bothered.
His heart's not going to be in it anymore, is it? He's going to play there because he likes playing footy.
He's being forced to play against
for Barca.
Which is mad because they're saying, well, we're not... If Barca, for everything that Lionel Messi has done for that club, don't get me wrong, I don't want him to leave because he'll end up at City. But for everything he's done for that club, they should turn around and go, do you know what? Yeah, if an offer comes in of like 30 mil, we'll let you go. But to say no, they've got to pay 700 mil if they want you. And it's like, come on now, like, and he's old. If someone offers you 50 million for him, he's only got 2 or 3 seasons left in him, probably.
Yeah.
Because I don't think he can play as long as Cristiano, because I think as an athlete, Cristiano's probably a better athlete.
Oh, for sure. Absolutely, for sure, yeah. I think physically, Ronaldo will play for longer because of how much of a fucking specimen he is.
Yeah.
Messi's just more technically gifted. I don't think his body will last as long as a professional footballer.
It's just sad to see him be forced to play there. And know that the best player I've ever seen play the game of football is being treated like that, so to speak. Like, no, if you want to leave your team, you should be allowed to leave your team. And I say that very faint arse because Gerrard wanted to leave us. And but yeah, like it is sad to see that. But yeah, talking about your predictions, just want to go back to them. You said Chelsea, Liverpool, City, United, Arsenal, Spurs for the top 6.
Yeah.
How much of that would you change if you had the chance to now?
I would take that team off the top, right? And I'd just put them in. And I'd leave the rest as it was.
I mean, I'm quite proud of looking at like ahead. If the season stays how it is, I had Liverpool, City, Arsenal, Chelsea, United, and Wolves, and I said, well, I think Wolves are going to do well. I've got Everton as my dark horse, which is sadly looking good.
Yeah, I think you've done quite well there. To be fair, you've done better than me anyway.
Yeah, we'll see how it is at the end of the season because you've got Wolves for the FA Cup. I've got Liverpool to win absolutely everything.
That was a hint of bias.
Yeah, that was a hint of bias. I mean, the odds for that are crap as well. So it's like 125 to 1 for Liverpool to win everything.
Wow.
Yeah, mad, proper mad. But only a short one. It's not much to dissect when we're that good, and it's only a League 2 team. But we'll speak after tomorrow.
When are you getting back on KCC anyway? I've seen that you're getting your regular slot back.
Tomorrow. Well,
starts on it now.
Yeah, from 10 a.m. tomorrow, and then obviously the Reds cast's on every Tuesday, 6 o'clock. It's exciting times. A few other things.
Little shameless plug for your show there, Matthew.
Yeah, there's a few other little things which are coming through, which will be good for the pod. But yeah, so before we go, what's your score prediction for tomorrow then?
For tomorrow, I will go 2-1 Liverpool. And I think Keita will bag a goal.
I'm going to go 4-2. Because Adrian's in goal. Just because I think we're more like...
But what if he's not? What if it's all rubbish?
If it's all normal and Thiago's playing Alisson, 3-0.
Okay.
And Thiago will score.
Oh, that'd be lovely, that.
Home day.
I think either way, I think I'll just go for 2-1, no matter what happens.
Would you bring Jota on?
Yeah. Definitely.
I'm Minamino. I'd give him a little go. That's I was thinking about it. Would I start Minamino instead of Bobby?
No, I would start Minamino on Thursday. I'd let Bobby play Monday, give Minamino the goal on Thursday.
Arsenal probably going to play their kids Thursday as well, aren't they? Because they've got more games than us. Because I'm sure they've got with Europa League. It seems like everyone's doing qualifying rounds this year. It's just Arsenal and the
Arsenal. Nothing Arsenal the Europa League, but aren't they?
Because they won the FA Cup yet in the Europa League. You've got to go through the qualifying round. So yeah, I mean it's mad. I don't understand the Europa League this year. Like Tottenham have been playing already in Europe with goals too small over.
I've seen that, yeah. That was nuts.
Mourinho's got a face on it like,
if I can touch the ball, what's going on?
Yeah. It's mad though that they tried to get away with it, isn't it? Thinking they could, the team, like cutting. You can see where they've cut them in the corners as well, and obviously put them back together. It's crazy. That's what you get though for playing in the Europa League. Standards are well worse. But yeah, we'll probably speak on like Tuesday or something after the Arsenal game. Hopefully we're right with our predictions.
Yeah, well, one of us at least.
Nice one as always, Ste.
Nice, no worries.
See you in a bit.
Take it easy.